Hello all, welcome to the lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss some of the important organizations, some of the important summits that were there in the news, and they are some very important relevant topic from exam point of view. So let us start discussing each of them one by one. Firstly, let's talk about this particular topic that India appoints Sherpa for G20 Summit. From UPSC perspective, if I look at it, what is important that we need to know what is G20. We need to know what is G7 and who are the member countries. We already know that UPSC has already asked question on the members of such kind of organizations, and we should be very clear with the members. So G20, G7, who are the members? That is something important. So who is a Sherpa? So when I define a Sherpa is a personal representative of a head of a state or a government who appears in international summit, particularly in G7 and G20 summits. So a personal representation of a head of state or a government. So between the G7 summits, there are multiple Sherpa conferences where possible agreements are laid out, and this basically reduces the amount of time and the resources that are required at the negotiations of the head of the state at the final summit. So when I say the name Sherpa, it refers to the Sherpa for the G7 summit, but the designation can be extended to different regular conferences where the participation of the head of the state is actually required. So this Sherpa is quite influential personality, although they do not have the authority to make a final decision about a given agreement. But yes, as they are the representative, so definitely they're going to hold some kind of weight. So the name is derived from the Sherpa people. What is Sherpa? It is a Nepalese ethnic group. So these basically this group serve as a guides and porters in the Himalayas. So Sherpa clears the way for a head of a state at a major summit. Talking about G20, we already know that how important is G20 is. But talking about its history, the year of establishment. So G20 was established in 1999. And this G20 is an international forum of the governments and central bank governors from 20 major economies. If I look at the GDP, so G20 economies, they account for around 85% of the GDP and 80% of your world trade. So to tackle the problems or address issues that plague the world, the heads of the governments of the G20 nations, they periodically participate in summits. So in addition to it, the group also holds separate meetings of the finance ministers and the foreign ministers. The G20, it actually has no permanent staff of its own, and its chairmanship, it rotates annually between the nations who are divided into these particular regional groupings. So when I talk about the members of the G20, they actually consist of 19 individual countries are there, plus is your European Union. So who are the 19 members? So they are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, South Korea, UK and US. And when I talk about European Union, this European Union is actually represented by European Commission and by the European Central Bank. So India has been the member of the G20 since its inception in 1999, and India is a member of G20. Another topic that I'm going to cover up is that recently India assumed the presidency of the United Nations Security Council for the month of August 2021. So this will be the country's first presidency during its 21-22 tenure, and that too as a non-permanent member of the Security Council. So India began its 2-year tenure as a non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council in January 2021. And this is India's 8th term, right? So 8th term on the United Nations Security Council. Talking about India's UNSC presidency, India will decide the UN's body agenda for the month, and it coordinated some important meetings on a range of issues also. So key events were decided that are going to be organized, and the major areas that India wanted to focus on was their maritime security. So this is one area that India wanted to focus on, peacekeeping missions, and with it some counter-terrorism measures also. So focus area on maritime security, peacekeeping and terrorism. So the Security Council will have its own agenda, several important meetings, and the Security Council will be, adopting some resolutions such as on Somalia, Mali, and United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon also. If I talk about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he will be the first Indian Prime Minister who is going to preside over a meeting of the United Nations Security Council. A big news and a big event. So the last time an Indian PM was engaged in this effort was the Indian PM, PV Narasimha Rao, and that goes back to the year 1992 when he attended a UNSC meeting. Now, what are the growing challenges for India at UNSC? First challenge is there's the post-COVID world order. As the global economy is in shambles, with various countries facing recession and health emergency, there are a lot of concerns now. Another concern is China challenge. So India is entering UNSC at a time when China is asserting itself at the global stage. The growing hegemony of China can be seen. So China's aggressive behavior in the Indo-Pacific as well as India-China border, and we can witness the growing tensions between the two countries since 2020. So China has even tried to raise the issue of Kashmir at the UNSC, and India has a lot of time commented to China that China should not interfere in the internal affairs of India. Another topic is India's 5-point agenda to enhance maritime cooperation. What is this 5-point agenda and what is this maritime cooperation necessary? So Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he recently presided over a UN Security Council open debate on the topic enhancing maritime security. So the UN Security Council then adopted India's presidential statement on this particular concept, that is maritime security. With the growing challenges in the sea, maritime security has become all more an important topic. We already know the China's growing aggressions. We already know that how much we can see that with the advent of time, sea routes have become another route for terrorist activities to continue. So India is trying to focus more on the areas of enhancing the domain of maritime security. So what is the 5-point agenda that is laid down by Prime Minister to increase the maritime cooperation? So let us discuss them. Firstly, removal of the barriers to legitimate maritime trade. All kinds of barriers within the trades, they need to be removed. Secondly, there should be a resolution of maritime disputes which should be adopted in accordance with the international laws. Thirdly, fight threats from natural disasters and the non-state actors. What do I mean by non-state actors? Non-state actor means when I'm referring to terrorist outfits or other outfits that are working, right? Also, the agenda was the conservation of marine resources also. So we are moving forward. India is moving forward with that. We have to become completely a country that is free of pollution, right? So in that domain also, conservation of marine resources and how that can be done, with what technology, how can we use it, that is also important. Fifth, promoting reasonable maritime connectivity. So maritime connectivity is another area where India is engaging, and India wants that maritime cooperation. So when I say maritime cooperation in terms of trade, in times of disputes, in types of resources, connectivity, a lot other things are there. So what are the efforts by India that have been made to enhance maritime cooperation? Firstly, Sagar. What is this Sagar? Sagar is security and growth for all in the region. Secondly, Indian Navy has been patrolling to counter piracy in the Indian Ocean since 2008. Then India's Deep Ocean Mission is also there. We have a information fusion center also, and we have been supporting for hydrographic surveying and training of maritime security personnel to several countries over the time period. Talking about the Sagar initiative is important. So in 2015, India unveiled this particular vision, that is Sagar. What is the full form of Sagar? Sagar is basically an acronym. Sagar means security and growth for all in the region. So it is an increasing recognition, we can say, of the importance of the maritime security, maritime cooperation, that is important. So through Sagar, what India wants to do? So through Sagar, India wants to deepen that economic and security cooperation with its maritime neighbors, because there is a need completely of the time. We are entering the world where a lot of threats are increasing from land, from sea. So we need to, with our maritime borders, to have that, maritime security capabilities. So for this, India would cooperate on the exchange of information, coastal surveillance, building of infrastructure, and strengthening the capabilities also. That is something what is important. India has also been re-elected to the International Maritime Organization Council, that is our IMO Council, after elections were held at Assembly in London for 2022 and 23. So this newly elected council will going to meet formally at the conclusion of the 32nd Assembly of the IMO's 126th session on Wednesday, and at that time it will elect its chair and the vice chair for the next period, that is 2022 to 2023. Also, India was elected under the category B. What is this category B? So this category B represent nations, all those nations which have largest interest, very large interest, largest interest in international seaborne trade. So it secured second highest 144 number of votes. This is the amount of votes from member countries, just after Germany, which actually received around 146 votes. Let us discuss about IMO Council. What is this IMO Council? So IMO Council plays crucial role in deciding various important matters within the mandate of IMO. If I talk about in the areas related to global shipping industries and its working strategy for its budget. So India has been one of the earliest members of IMO. So having ratified its convention and joined it as a member state in 1959, India has been elected to the Council of the IMO ever since it started functioning, except for a 2-year period, that is during your 1983 to 1984. So you should know about what is this IMO Council and whether India is member of this IMO Council or no. So that is now clear that it's a what is IMO, and yes, India has been one of the earliest member of the council, and it is part of it since 1959. Another thing about IMO is that we need to discuss a little more about it, that what is this IMO? So IMO is a specialized agency of the US. And what is the responsibility of IMO? For regulating the shipping. So it was established in 1948 in Geneva and came into force in 1959. Where are the headquarters? The headquarters of IMO are in London, that is UK. And how many member states are part of it? So it has around 171 member states and 3 associate members. And we already discussed that India was the earliest member of the IMO. So in terms of functionality, if I want to know what are the functions of IMO, so basic function is to develop and maintain a comprehensive regulatory framework for shipping and its remit. So these frameworks should address various areas like your safety, legal matters, maritime security, efficiency of shipping. So IMO is governed by an assembly of members and is financially administered by a council of members elected from the assembly. So 40 member countries are there who are elected by IMO assembly, and a very important role is played by IMO in deciding various matters related to global shipping industry. This is something important. All matters, significant matters that are related to your global shipping industry. So with this, we end the lecture here. Thank you.